Well, good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. I finally reached the pinnacle. I cracked Walmart. I got to come to Walmart. You guys are hard to get into. So not into the stores, but into corporate. Anyway, it's great. I get introduced all the time that Lee Cockerell ran Disney World, and he was in charge of all these people and all these 50 million visitors that come there, and we have 7,000 managers down in Orlando and all of this stuff. And I tell people quietly, since I left, I didn't know what was going on half the time. It's a very complex, big place. It's a city. It's same size as San Francisco. It's gigantic. When I think about that, people say, well, good grief, you didn't know what was going on. I said, well, those days are over, and in fact, nobody ever knew what was going on. The smart thing I knew is if you get the right people around you, you don't need to know everything's going on. You can't anyway anymore. You need the experts. And the world's got very complex, and the IT and the finance and operations and compliance and food safety, all of those different areas. And I was really bright because I got great people around me. And I had a team that worked for me almost the whole time I was there. I had the best engineer in the world. We do about $750 million a year in capital projects just in Orlando with new rides, attractions, roller coasters. We have 4,000 maintenance people there to make it look nice for you. And he did a great job. He reported to me. But that didn't mean much because I'm not an engineer. I didn't have a clue what he was doing. And I would help him occasionally with some of the bureaucracy. I don't know if you have any of that in your company. But trying to get things approved. And that's what I could help him with. And I had the best retail lady, great lady, ran the business. She knew the retail, and I used to tell people, I shop, but I'm not a retail expert. You need somebody who really knows that business, grows up in that business, all over that business. And she did a great job. We do $1 billion in Orlando in retail, just in the stores there. And anybody been there? Did we get any of your money? We know how to shake it out of you. And has anybody got little girls? If you have little princesses, we get more from you. Because fathers can't say no to those little sweet 4-year-olds that want a pink dress with a tiara and the shoes and everything else. And it costs a lot of money. In fact, Carmen knows the princess business for Disney is now a $3 billion business in the United States. Just princesses. And for the guys in here, it never ends, by the way. When they're 40, you'll still be spending money on them. But she was a great lady, ran the business. It's a very complex business, as you know. You're in that business. And I had the best food guy. We do over $1 billion in food and beverage in Orlando. Guy knows more about food. I think he sleeps with tomatoes under his bed. I mean, this guy loves food. And he did a great job. We have 500 places to eat in Orlando. We have one restaurant that does 8,000 lunches. You talk about burgers and fries and Cokes coming out fast. So he really was an expert at this business. And I was telling this story one day, and somebody said, well, you got all these people running the business for you. What'd you do? And I say, today, that's probably the one question you want to be able to answer if your boss says, what do you do? Why should we keep you? What value do you bring to our company? Are you a value-added person? Because I'm sure Walmart, like Disney, and any company in America, actually any company in the world, is looking at every job, every cost, trying to get their costs down, trying to get more productive, trying to replace you with technology, trying to figure out a different way to do it, outsource it, a million ways. And I said, well, I know the answer to that question because I always thought about that. What do I do? I'm not an engineer. I'm not a food expert. I wasn't a retail expert. I said, well, I'm the chief environmentalist at Walt Disney World. I wake up every morning when I was there and I thought about where should I spend my time and use my authority and my position where I could make a difference every day so that those 60,000 people who work at Disney World in Orlando wake up in the morning and want to come to work versus have to come. Is there a difference in those two jobs in your mind? You ever been in one of those jobs where you woke up in the morning and you kind of wish something would happen to your boss on the way to work? And you would even participate in it if it was possible, would get away with it. And then you have another place where you wake up in the morning, you're really glad you work for Walmart, and you're happy to say that, and you're inspired, and you're committed to the company, and you feel good about it, and you want to go in. And it's a good environment when you get there, and the people you work with, you enjoy working with, and you're treated respectfully, and your boss cares about you, and people are training you and developing you, and you see a future in your life. That's what I had to think about a lot. So I spent my time in three areas. Three areas I focused in on. Really, most of my career I focused on these three areas. The first area is I was very involved in the people we hired and the people we promoted. Who we bring into the company. Is that important? Who you bring into your family is a big deal. It's a huge deal at Disney. In fact, at Disney, if you want to join the company today, cleaning bathrooms or making up bedrooms or any job, you have to go on the internet and answer 136 questions so we can figure out who you are, even before we let you fill out an application. We want to know what your attitude is. Do you have a can-do attitude or a can't-do attitude? Does anybody know the difference in those two people? The can-do people, you can't stop them. They figure a way to get it done no matter what. They don't care whether they work for Walmart or Disney or the shoe store at the mall. They can get it done. They're wired that way. We want a lot of can-do people at Disney. And there's a lot of can't-do people. When you tell them something hard to do, they get that look on their face. Do you ever see that? Like your mother said, get that look off your face? And that's what we don't want to have it in the first place. So I was all over that. Then if you actually get through those questions, you get sent over to the casting center where you fill out an application. But before you fill out an application, you get to watch a film about Disney expectations. We have very high expectations. So you get to see a film that talks about personal appearance, dress, hair color, piercing, tattoos, attitude, taking care of our guest, how important that is, how vital that is, what we will not put up with, being on time to work. When that film is over, 20% of the people get up and walk out, don't even fill out the application. They don't want to work. And that's good. Separate them right out from the beginning. And then the others get filled out, they get through, they may get hired, and they go in for training. And I tell people, when I was introduced a minute ago, he said, Disney World's the happiest place on earth. Does anybody know why that is? Disney World's the happiest place on earth or else. Let me tell you.